Welcome back to the channel once again, folks. Today I'm going to take you through the basic technique for training your shoulders. We are going to learn the best technique and the best form to get 3D shoulders. So if today is your first time watching me, I'm Coach Edward, a professional fitness trainer, and I'm here to help you sculpt that shoulders. Now, before we even start any workout, we have to know that the shoulders is divided into 3 different delts, or parts, and that is the front delt, the rear delt, and also the side delt. So in order to get a 3D shoulders, your exercises should focus mostly on this different deltoid, or should be more isolated. That is, doing different exercises to treat or to target each of the deltoid. Now, before we start with the Smith machine shoulder press, so I'm going to show you the best angle position that you have to use in order to target the shoulders or the frontal delt, right? What I've observed over the years of training in most of these advanced lifters and intermediate lifters is that they kind of lower the bench to an angle which shifts their focus from the shoulders to the pecs or the upper chest, right? We want to target our front delt, that's our shoulders, not our pecs, right? So when you pose this way, you have this place to be our pecs, that is our chest, upper chest, and this side is our front delt, that is the shoulders, right? So this side is the shoulders and here is the pecs, right? So anytime you are doing a shoulder press, make sure the bar is directly in line with your shoulders, you understand, or upper chest, just above the upper chest, right, not below. So once it is here, you shift the focus from the pecs to the shoulder muscles, right? Before you perform any exercises, especially with this shoulder press, first you need to adjust the seats to target the right muscles. We take the bench to a 60-degree angle. When we are doing chest, when you're doing chest, that's upper pecs or the lower pecs, we lower it to 45 or 30 degrees, or even we make it a flat. But with the shoulders, we do it 60 degrees and sometimes 80 degrees. Yes, and I'll explain that as we move on, right? So first, adjust the seat to a 60-degree angle. Then secondly, make sure the bar, this bar, when it is coming down, it's a little closer to your nose. So you are going to touch your upper on top of the upper chest, right? Not the upper chest. So this is the upper chest, but we are touching on top of the upper pecs, and that is where we shift all the focus from the upper pecs to the shoulder muscles, right? The frontal shoulders. So this is how it's going to be. So let's try and do the warm up on this. We go down. All right, so see where it is. So that is it. Then you go down all the way to boom, right? And you stretch the shoulder muscles up. So if you're doing this right, once you get there, you realize the shoulder muscles will be stretched out, before you can extend it up, squeezing upwards. Then you slowly stretch. So stretching on the eccentric and then extending upwards will give you that bigger frontal shoulders that you want, right? Now let me show you the big mistake that most people make. First of all, the back action. People lean their back too much this way, and this is how they perform, right? Now if you do this, then you shift the focus from the shoulder. Now you see where the bar hits on the chest instead of the on top of the upper chest. It's directly on the upper chest, all right? And that's the one mistake that people make when they are doing shoulder press. Although the angle is 60 degrees, but leaning so much or giving so much space at the back will shift the focus from the shoulders to the chest, and that is not what we are looking at this point. Another mistake is, and when you are performing, instead of bringing all the way down to the chest level, they actually do half range. That is this, then we're going up like this. There is no tension created, right? We have to make sure the tension is created whilst we are moving the weight, right? So if you're doing a half ranges or half reps, you don't have any tension that is activated in the shoulder muscles that are targeted, right? So you create the tension in the stretch position. But if you don't stretch up and then you leave the weight hanging up like this and go up like that, you can go many sets, but the tension will be less effective. And as you guys know, mechanical tension is a drive to hypertrophy, and hypertrophy is the key to muscle building. If there is no stretch, there is no muscle building. That's the two mistakes that I've observed from people who train shoulders using the Smith machine shoulder press. So let's do 20 sets, 20 repetitions of warm up on this, and then we move to the next. Alright, so that was that for the warm-up. We do a working set, 4 sets, and we do 12 repetitions for each of the working sets. If you are ready to rock with me, let's do this together. So as you saw in the working set, I wasn't rushing through the repetitions. That is one of the mistakes most people make, especially beginners. When you're starting to work out or perform any exercises, the major thing that you need to master the most is the technique, right? And then the form. When you want to target a particular muscles, you have to control the weight all the way down. That is at the stretch position. You don't want to be rushing through the repetitions. I've been coaching clients for quite a number of months now, and I realize most of them, once you give them exercise to perform and then you leave them, you come back and realize they are done in just a few minutes. They'll tell you, I'm done with 4 sets. How? So I always ask, how did you do that? And they'll be like, yeah, I did it. So what I noticed was that once they are giving the exercise, they rush through the repetitions, and they are done. Right? If you rush through repetitions, you are not growing muscles, right? You are just, lifting weight. Yeah, so basically we need to take our time, especially on the negative or the eccentric part of the movement, because that is where the actual tension takes place, right? So as I'm going down and I'm stretching the muscles, the shoulder muscles, I have to take my time to get a deep stretch at the bottom before I bring it up. Personally, I prefer the seated lateral raises over the standing lateral raises, and as a beginner, I would also like you to do a seated lateral raises as compared to the standing. And if you are doing the standing lateral raise, then you have to use a very light weight so that you can control the weight all the time, especially when you are descending or you are going down on the eccentric, right? With the seated, you will be able to control it very well as compared to when you are standing, right? So we are going to do 12 sets of that. I'll show you the best form. Alright, this is how you perform this lateral raises or the side raises using the dumbbell. First of all, we want to target the side delt or the side part of the shoulders. That is this side, right? Now, if you want to target that side, then you should be moving in that side to be stretching the muscles in that side, right? So in a normal circumstance, we should be moving the dumbbells directly on the side, right? What I have experienced or noticed is that when I'm moving it directly on the side this way, I get more activation of my traps. I don't know for you though, but I get more activation of the trap, so I don't feel the side delt being well activated. So what we're going to do is we are going to develop the best technique for doing that side delt. When we grab the dumbbells, instead of moving straight this way, we're going to tilt the dumbbells a little bit forward. This is how it was at first, but we're going to tilt it this way, right? And then we move slightly forward. All right, so we move slightly forward instead of moving on the straight path. Once you move slightly forward, you shift the focus from the traps or even the rear delt to the side delt, and you get that muscles being activated on the side delt. And I feel it more. You can also try it when you have your shoulder day. Yes, so if you have been doing the parallel or the straight lateral raises, it's good, but then you'll feel more traps activation as compared to the side delt. You can try it yourself and then leave it in the comment below. So what we're going to do is we tilt it a little bit and then we throw it a little bit forward, not too much forward. We are not doing the side, we are doing side, so this should be the direction, not this way but this way, right? And then we go. When coming down, we control the negative and then we stretch up, we take it back, right? We control, stretch up, take it back, we control, stretch up. If you cannot control the weight, try and use a lesser weight. Once you use a lesser weight and you're able to control the negative all the time, then you can progress to use a little bit heavier weight to get maximum activation, right? You can also use a lighter weight but do more repetitions so that you can get the tension which is being created on the side delt. Let's do one set and then let's move on to the next exercise. Yeah, that's that for the side delt. My last explanation is going to be on the rear delt, and I'm still going to use the dumbbell to do the dumbbell rear delt flies. If you are still with me, make sure to like the video, leave a comment if you want more of this, and I am willing to provide for you guys. Let's go. For beginners, I would like you to do a chest supported rear delt flies when you do the dumbbells, right? Most of you, the problem you have is the form. You can't get the form right, so you always need a support, right? And once the support gives you the form, you can do it without a support. So you're going to do a chest supported rear delt fly to hit our rear delt or our back delt. That's what I would say, right? For you to understand. Most people, you don't understand the term, so sometimes we need to break it down to your level so that you understand what we are trying to do. So we have the front, the side, and then the back. That's it. All right. So I'm going to adjust the seat all the way down. Most people, they adjust the seat all the way down here. Yes. When you adjust it all the way down to this side, you actually shift the focus from the rear delt to the upper back or the upper to mid back muscles, right? Instead of hitting the rear delt. If you want the rear delt is the muscles at the back of the shoulders, right? So you need to get the activation at here and not here. So once you are going this way, you are shifting from this side to the back. So you are going to do it this way. In order for you to get that, you have to bring the angle up a little bit. Yep, exactly. And then you pick your dumbbells. This is how we are going to go. Let me do it this way so that you will understand. All right. So once we take the dumbbells, we're going to be on it this way, and then we squeeze. Our back should be inside, your glute is up, and then you take it all the way here, and then you squeeze this way, right? You don't want to be doing this, but you want to be doing this because we want to get the result. All right, so this is what we're going to do. Take it up and then shrug your shoulders down when you're going down, right? If you're going down, shrug your shoulders. So we take it up, then we shrug the shoulders inside. We squeeze, we slowly do it that way. That way you will hit the rear delt. But if you don't, and then most beginners, this is what they do. It's really funny, but it's not your fault. It's because you are new to the exercise, right? That's why I am here to take you through. So once you go back, you shrug your shoulders and then you take it back. You squeeze up to get the delt engaged before you can go back. Let's do this. So we take right. That was it. After this, you realize your delts are in pain. then because you have targeted the right muscles. If you don't feel your delt being a little bit sore, it means you actually targeted the wrong muscles, or a little bit of the attention was given to that side of the delt, right? So perform the exercise right, and then get the correct technique, and you're going to grow the muscles.